Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Wanderer's Guide to Esterra podcast, all based around Concord LARP. I am your wandering guide, as ever, Luke. And this is episode 12. Winds of the World, Summer 2023, Part 1. Yeah, Part 1. Because, as has been made many times, the Winds of the World are big. This one, not as big as the previous, thank the spheres, but it's no less jam-packed with fear, horror, suspense, and immense amounts of danger, and what would be the word here? Nightmare fuel? Yeah, we're going to go with nightmare fuel. Love that. Announcements right here at the top. Buy your tickets. Buy your tickets. Buy your tickets. Buy your tickets. I'm going to keep doing this for as long as the tickets are still available for Summer Summit 2023. Buy your tickets. If you've not submitted your character, and that is a thing you need to do, or want to do it. As of the recording of this, it is... Where is my thing saying the thing? I have forgotten what the date is today, and that is embarrassing. It's what is it? Was it the 10th today? Thank you.
Yes.
I thought it was the 10th. Yes. It is the 10th of September, which means you have about 5 days to get your character submitted and done. I will probably be uploading this probably the day it gets recorded or the day after, so you have one less day than that. So get it done. That includes myself. I still have not done it. I need to do it. Gotta get that magic heal up just in case.
You need to do as you preach.
Yep. Yeah, I should. Moving on from that, premium packs have been revealed, paid, and distributed. I do not know how many there are left of any of them. You will need to go see Sam Bowden's post on that on the Concord Facebook page. Go skim along for that. I believe they are $25 each. There is a limited number of each of them. I believe a lot of them for the different realms are gone. They're basically just, they are and then embossed realmic patches that can be sewn onto whatever garment you desire. As I said, $25. Limited number, so go check that out. Right, personal little update. I've had something bad happen recently. The streaming software I use, and I'm using now for the recording, has been discontinued as of the 19th of this month. So I'm currently in a slapdash scramble to try and find some other recording software or streaming software going forward. I'm looking into various different options, but hopefully I should be able to get any and all content done before this summer that I need or want to get done in time before this software basically goes into obscurity and complete broken mess of code because OS updates. To be very clear, it has been discontinued on Mac. It is still available on Windows for those who are curious. I'm in talks with a team working on another streaming piece of streaming software to get it all voiceover accessible, as it is specifically been designed for Mac, which is very, very cool. So that's a thing that'll be sort of going forward, and I'll be trying to help them with as best as I'm able in my limited capacity. So that's a thing. Yeah, game's getting close, folks. We got a couple weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. So yeah, it's getting close to game time. There's big stuff going on. But for now, enjoy this. Going to be covering a chunk of the Winds of the World for this episode, and then we'll try and cover either another big chunk at a later point, or cover the rest. We'll see where things kind of go. Also, as a reminder, Matthew Owens is still doing the Players React to the Winds of the World. I believe it's happening on the 18th. If memory serves, it was either the 18th or the 19th. You can go through the Concord Facebook page, find the post about it. Find the Winds of the World Summer Summit 2023 post, and then there's a comment on that from Matthew Owens stating when it is happening. Go find that. It's always a good time. I thoroughly enjoy tuning into it. I love checking out other people's perspective on this stuff in this sort of podcast-esque form. It's a great time. I enjoy it. I know a lot of other people enjoy it. Super good time. Please go check that out. Please go watch that either during or after. But for now, we're going to have our own little time enjoying pouring through the winds of the world, or at least part of it, with for the first time, 3 guests on this podcast rather than my regular 1 or 2. So with that, we'll fling on over. Welcome, guys.
Howdy. I play the character Rashid El Tanabar at Concord. Out of character, you just call me Scott Markham. Senator for Mukarram at the moment. And that's about all. I'll hand on to the next person.
Hi, I am Melody, and I play Vid Whisperrose, who is a Bolivarian commoner seeking her knighthood, and yeah, things in Bolivar are very complicated.
Yes.
What's up, everyone? It's me, Jimmy, otherwise known as Razil Del Panoply. I'm a very infamous figure, but today I'm just back with these.
So, have any titles? Wow.
Well, you know, he's also the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Concord.
Ooh. Yes,
Pretty swanky, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, I reckon it's pretty cool.
So he is indeed a very busy man. I see.
Always.
It's probably also worth noting this is Jimmy's first reading of Wins. So we're going to go live.
Okay, we're already doing this.
Yeah, of course we are. It's important.
Well, if we're calling people out, don't make me call you out, Scott. I'll do it. All right.
You'll have every opportunity. Anyway.
Yeah. So...
Welcome to the chaotic podcast today.
Please will have genuine live reactions from someone.
Mm-hmm. So to give y'all listening and or watching to this the basic rundown of what we're going to do, we're not going to do what I've done in the past, which is go through every single little line of text and then talk about it, because last time I did that with 2 other people, it went for almost 7 hours, which is great. Not something I want to do every time, because that's even a little tiring for me. So we're going to try this thing out. We're going to try splitting it up into recordings, and we're just going to sort of go to the topic, talk about the thing briefly of what it is, the dot points we need to know, and then have a bit of a chinwag about it and move on. Some things aren't super worth mentioning just because it's information that has popped up in almost every single Winds of the World thus far. We'll also be doing our best to include the correct information that was missed in the Winds of the World, that delightful Michael Harris, aka Skittles, has provided a post for on the Facebook page, giving, this is what's wrong in the thing or missing from the thing. Here is that information. We'll get there.
Yeah, he sort of forgot about a whole war,
which is
not fantastic.
Hilarious. That they just.
He's a very, very, very busy man.
Oh yeah, but it's still like, of all things, just forgetting an entire war is really funny. For some reason.
Hey, wait a minute. Why are there like half as many swords as we usually have? You don't remember that other war? No? What other war? It's awesome.
There is no war in Concord.
There is no war in Baltimore.
So,
I mean, currently
40,000 strength.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So,
get ahead of myself.
I do want to briefly highlight before we do crack into the first particular thing here, the little like intro blurb, as it were, for this Wins. I do like the tone. It very much has that sort of the what's the term I want here? Rising tension vibe. That sort of like, strings slowly ramping up in a horror film. That sort of like the tension is building, and yeah, very much that. And especially the last line being, "Will you stand against the terror?" is particularly nice. I like that. Sort
The
of
broken year is culminating.
Yeah. The Broken Year 2, Electric Boogaloo. We're here.
Oh, no.
Guess what? It's only broken years from here on.
It just gets gradually
Look.
more broken until it's just
Yeah.
sand.
Back to
I
sand,
mean,
baby.
you three coming from Andash surely know all about sand and ruins.
Don't get us started.
Yep, don't worry. If things go badly, the rest of the realms will know that too. But yeah, speaking of sands, so first off, we got the war in Mukarem, bait and switch. Pirates are dickheads.
I love this one.
This is such a hilariously written.
These are not the pirates from the Golden Fleet though. These are more like bandits.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the land forces of Apravano.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that.
And
Love that for us.
it is not fantastic. But it does remind me of one thing that I've heard like Skittles stated is that anything like we Concordians are able to do, technically the enemy nations have their own version of doing it. So
To a degree,
yeah.
Yeah. So, since this is Mukarem, it's my hobby horse. What I really liked about this passage is it's sort of the unfolding of what was set up 2 summits ago when we had a little conflux in Andash, where we were visiting the head janissary school in Tadrabar in the desert. And he was, from what I heard, complaining to everyone that, why don't people come to train in the desert to be janissaries anymore? They were just getting fat in the city. And while the Andashi were meeting up with him, they were ambushed by Ardabzani, who managed to take this guy prisoner. And what we then heard in the next winds is that Majid has acquired an expert in desert warfare, and his troops are training in the sand dunes. Actually, that was the next summit, not the next winds. And then in this winds, we then get to hear about what that produces, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very sneaky. Almost to like the level of what I assume Spy Master might be capable of.
Yeah,
definitely. It's definitely the vibe I
Yeah.
get from this with Spy Master vibes.
I think it also introduces a strategy armies can take, right? The blockade runner.
Yeah, fair. It's one of those because there are some armies and forces that sometimes will get like unique actions.
Yeah, that might be a unique action for his army.
Yeah, it's. I like that it's written to be so condescending. Like I do like that. Even though
It is a bit. Yeah.
fuels my rage, even more, and a lust for burning down an embassy. But that's its own conversation.
Look, at least they have good taste in booze, right, Brazil?
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm a humble man, and I was not going to bring it up, but since you have, I've noticed there's something fun in this this passage, which relates directly to something that I can speak on.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I love that it's like looks at the label and actually delight fucking Concordians.
Look, I
It's
take
really
pride in
fun.
being a Concordian, so he says here he spits the words as he brings the bottle to his lips. So can I just say, number one, he still enjoys it.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still drinking it.
Yeah.
Right?
It is Still good enough
And
to
also,
drink.
I take pride in being a Concordian. This is the best advertisement I could ever want. And Ashy Delight will be available at the upcoming summit, and it will be twice as expensive.
Is it an official announcement?
Yeah, that's not an official announcement, and it'll probably be the same price.
Will it be there at all?
I might only do big bottles this time, just to make sure.
Oh, good.
But yeah,
So the other,
I would love to have one of your big bottles. I would love that.
Oh well, you better get in line, everybody, because there's a lot of people that want them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be about speed, all right?
Yeah, go
Come
ahead,
to me because I'm not gonna walk around.
that's all right, Luke. That's...
I'm fucking saying like, wow, you were not kidding when you were like, chaotic podcast.
Look,
It's gonna happen.
it's not my fault. It just happens with me.
It's
Look,
fine.
is this podcast not always chaotic? Like, you have brought in 3 of the most chaotic people onto this.
Yeah, this was your fault.
Correction, Paul is not on this podcast.
Oh, somebody get Paul in here right now.
Oh, I plan to in a future day, don't worry.
Which poll? Which
Uh,
poll are we talking about? Because it's
Bad
multiple
luck,
polls.
Paul. Yep.
The poll.
Yep.
Oh.
Paul,
bad
who's
luck,
had
Paul.
40 characters so far.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bad luck, Paul.
Oh.
Rip to a real one.
He doesn't need that nickname.
No,
don't,
no, he
don't,
d- okay,
don't
no,
give him that
okay.
badge.
The
It's
fact
his
that
fault.
you knew what I meant.
Look, no one can
We
say
love
that
Paul.
Paul doesn't take his hits.
This is true.
That's what makes him so cool. He's always got some cool new character.
Yes, Paul, you're cool.
We love you, Paul. Shout outs to Paul.
Very much so. Yeah, no. So, Scott, yeah, you were attempting to say something like 4 different times.
That's
Oh,
fine.
sorry.
The other thing that's amusing in this passage is that Obregon is referred to as the greatest city in the Concord. And I'll just drop the mic there.
Cool flex. I like that, yeah.
Interesting.
There's not roads made of blood in Obregon.
Okay,
No,
There
they're
is
just,
no
no,
war
they're
in
just made with the
Obregon.
bones of peasants.
In Obregon, it's probably all magic, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Obregon's doing well. Obregon's doing quite nice.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Nothing's doing nicely. It's a broken you.
A couple of different tones in the answer you just gave there, Luke.
And look, there's a lot. Look, there's a lot
Classic
of tones. All right, there's like at least 7 different tones. It's fine. It's fine. No, I honestly no. I'm sure Obregon is fine.
I am the only Bolivarian of this podcast, and I have no idea of the beef between you all.
It's not.
Is it beef?
It's not beef. It's not.
Okay,
chicken at best.
lightly seared.
Two
beef.
factions in Andash. The first half is people that have given up, and the second is people that have not yet. That's
fine.
That's where this boils down to.
It's fine. Hey, and if anything, if this first point for the situation in Mukarem is to be anything, I reckon this is fire for people to get more invested in sort of getting back to it, getting the fires lit again. Because this is like reading this really like hit me in character. Out of character a lot more than I expected. Like, it's really fired me up.
I 100% agree. I think we should be looking out for our boy Mukarem a little bit more, because as it says, it's never peaceful in Mukarem, and that's been going on for a few seasons.
There was a time when it was peaceful. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No.
Let's not, shall we? That is.
Let's move on.
That's so much. Although I do like the little note of like the soldiers when not being on duty are just like fishing. They're just contributing
that
to
they're
NASA
fishing.
fishing.
Everybody
Going
loves
out in
fishing.
boats.
That's peasant.
Yeah,
It just
it's
makes me
nice.
think of orangutans fishing, you know?
Scott,
Just
what
so
the hell
very
is
happy
wrong
with-
with you, man? This guy and his monkeys, bro. I tell you what, orangutans today. Jeez, this is an actual thing. I'm not making this up.
If Mukarem can be orangutan town, it would just
What does that even mean? What?
It's the kind of energy I
What
want.
is wrong with monkeys?
What? What do you mean? What? Nothing's wrong with it, but why here? Why now? Why Monkey Town? What does that mean?
What?
I don't.
All right, carry on.
Acting like it is the worst thing in the world.
It's just the worst thing you probably could have said just then. I don't know why. It's just monkeys.
The hubris of powerful men. The lure
Well,
is
hold on. Hold on. No, there is a point we also need to acknowledge. The Desert Whisperers have cost twice the amount for upkeep. They have received.
Okay, yes, we
they
should
ha-
address this.
Yeah, they have received their tier upgrade in terms of power, which is nice.
Yes, 2,500.
But I
Pretty
don't
nice.
believe they replenished their base forces.
No.
And we don't
So
even have
Would
any
imagine
money. We have half as much money as we thought we did.
Sabotage would
we
definitely
don't
deter.
have any
Service accounting
remember,
error.
but I believe they were close in the realm of 2,000
Mhm.
before they took this downtime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably somewhere in the realm of 4,000
Mhm.
or just under.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, double cost for upkeep is not great, but
Don't worry, we'll
Wait.
get more money. It'll be easy.
uh-huh.
We're great at that.
We will just print more money and that'll be fine.
I don't know why we haven't tried hyperinflation. I mean, what's the worst that'll happen?
Have you? This
I've
is a
seen
game
the
of
chest.
Fantasy, not real life, okay?
Have you seen Oberon's chest?
I
There's
have
enough
seen-
money. We could hyperinflate if we wanted to.
Not look. There's a joke I could make there,
There's
but
like
I'm not going
thousands
to.
of vaults. There's thousands of vaults for some reason. We can easily hyperinflate the economy. Get on that.
No.
Ashland.
No, there's certain
Ginny
things we
is
don't need.
rooting for the economic downfall of the Concord, everyone.
Look, I
Beware.
mean, try everything once, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think we have the capacity to try this at the moment.
Nor should we. But yeah, so this is not great.
Yep.
Baseline. We've got an army not at the full strength we need it to be, has cost twice the amount. We still have an enemy force occupying Mukarem.
They're in the region.
That's what I'm saying. They're occupying it. They are in it.
Mokarim is the region.
I'm agreeing with
Nice
you.
one, Scott.
But we're in there too.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yes, but the fact that they are there is the problem.
I've
is a-
long since become confused.
It's
They
fine.
in the region and have not been found. That is the problem.
Yes.
So that, that needs to be sorted out.
How can you
Ashaland,
lose an army in
Aljadis, you
sand?
wanna Aljadis, you wanna get on getting those fuckers out of that region? Mr.
Ash got his
Ambassador.
work cut out for him.
Yeah, maybe do your
Poor
job.
guy.
Yeah, do your job.
He's only had 5 minutes, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, it's fine. Yeah, this is not great, but for some reason, it reads as being worse than what it is. Like, it's bad from like a morale kind of humanitarian point of view, I guess you could say. But mechanically, this is not terrible.
I mean, in the broader scheme of things, Mukarem was not burned to the ground for a second time this season.
No,
Um,
thankfully.
The Desert Whisperers are alive and well. Well, not well, but they're alive.
They're mostly okay.
One thing
And
we need
Oberon is
to
alive.
one thing we need to remember with Skittles, like fluff is mechanics.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
we
definitely.
know the consequences of people who ignored the fluff. Father Winston.
And others. There's much more than just him.
Yeah.
I never ignore the fluff.
Um,
I only care about the fluff.
Yeah, if anything,
But-
like this displays, if anything, like the morale situation of Mukarem and Nasafeza specifically.
Can't be great. Can't be great to be living
No.
there.
It's not good.
We're working on it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I trust
Like,
that.
look, already dealing with the Almai and
We'll get there at some
other
point.
countries are dealing with things.
Yeah.
The Almai is a whole nother egg in a cup.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
Where's the thing? Bleh. So yeah, weird Ilsevere time.
Okay.
Hubris
We're
of
in
powerful
Boston.
men. Yeah. Weird fish people going nuts. This one's a little weird. So for
Does
context,
someone give me a
this-
synopsis?
yeah.
here?
So basically, this is going down in Bolsterley. This is the fight against Ilsevere forces, specifically the Marlin. Is there another Ilsevere force there as well, or is it just the Marlin in two different places?
No, it seems like it is just the Marlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though there is like multiple Elsevier forces, such as the shark and the eel. But yeah, this little chapter only details the Marlin.
Which is doing some weird stuff. Like in one part, it's just
Yeah.
normal Elsevier, and then in another, it's like
the-
screaming.
The Elsevier, also known as the Silent Sea of Hate, have apparently chosen to be the Screaming Sea of Hate.
They woke up and chose volume.
Yeah.
Because they always choose violence. Yeah, this is weird. Really,
Yeah.
really
So
weird.
howling and screeching on the field of battle, but that's more towards the Eighth Mir's Folly side of the battle. That's to the east.
Mm.
Yeah.
So-
What's the point of screaming? I guess fear.
Well,
Good job, I guess.
that's the thing though. So, in Athamar's Folly, there is the mine there has been, fucked. There is a thing in there that is causing stuff to be not good. So maybe it's something to do with that.
I agree with whoever brought it up like 4 summits ago, but whoever owns that deed should be held legally responsible for that. should
I
go-
don't think that
go to
character
jail.
will be returning to Concord, from what I've heard.
Ah,
What does that mean?
It means
Is that a euphemism
real
for
life
death?
told to the player.
the person whose character possessed that deed will not be returning as that character, from what I've heard.
Rip.
I could put out a few theories on maybe why the Ulster are acting like this.
sure, go for it.
I think it could be to do with the Baelites having arrived. I think they might be scared shitless of the magical Celtic druid Viking warriors that are chasing them up the coast.
Interesting
But
point.
that's just my theory.
All right, fair. I mean,
Maybe
Plausible.
there's something under the mine that they're trying to get into it.
They could be doing that too. That's true.
like on the wiki page, one of the 5 things to know about the Elsevier is that they are actively turning up dirt, but also I'm sure that almost everyone here have fought Elsevier. Like, they do not speak at all unless it is them actively stating which group they are part of, like we are the shark or such and such.
Yeah.
whatever basic
Well, I
communication
believe-
stuff. Yeah.
Their captains
But-
can.
But also they do make noise when they are hit with weapons, when they are in pain. So my thought is, like, are they howling and screaming because some part of them is in pain, and so the physical body is screaming because of it? Because we know the Elsevier basically is a full-on hive mind tadpoles thing, and that is one of the theories that I thought of like, is this the sign of maybe a few of the Marlins being actively in pain or something? I don't know.
I don't think
It
it's
could also
plausible
be
point.
golf. Sorry.
That's all good. Yeah, I agree with both of these ideas. I think Baylights definitely could have something to do with it. The fact that it's Athamar's Folly specifically, and that they crossed the Plagued River in Bolsterlee as well, and then they started doing it.
An interesting point.
Is I think
There's something under the mine.
Yeah, I think it is
For
the
sure.
thing that is in the mine that's causing this. Either
This
has
or-
them scared, that they like this might be like they might have been digging to get resources, but this might be the thing or a thing they've been looking for a while, and they're like, oh, we found it, and that's why the Marlin's kind of losing its mind a little, because it's like
So they might be
Well-
shrieking out of pure excitement or something.
maybe it could also be
Just
fair.
for clarity, the initial reason that the mine was damaged was that due to the grain and grail.
Yeah, which
don't know.
which were part of the Zergotile.
Because
I
as
was
far
sus
as
on
I'm
the ground
aware,
and grow from the get-go. I'm just.
I don't know how much of this kind of knowledge I can share out of character, but I am aware, I believe it was a grain and grail attack on the mine involving enchanting the wood to make brambles and things like that. So if it is the magic of the mine affecting the Elsevier, then that must be what it looks like when Zergotile magic crosses over with Ilsevier, which would be very interesting.
Interesting. I guess maybe one of those, like, because Zergotile are very like nature. I mean, they're druidic cults, for want of a better term.
They like Elsevier are more sea-bound, while Zergotile more praises the forest and such. But again, it's not like Elsevier are up for casual conversation with anyone.
No. Yeah, it could also, as I was alluding to, like it could be the Zergotile are more sort of natural nature based stuff, whereas the Elsevier, as we could perceive them, though we're still not entirely sure, could be an unnatural thing. So it could be a like this is a manifestation of this world, you know, our it burns us thing, maybe. There's a lot it could be. There's a lot we just don't know. Yeah, this is very much like a you know, Golem, the light it burns us thing.
Right. Mortal plane magic interfering with perhaps divine magic.
Exactly. So it's one of those, like, yeah, we could speculate for ages. There's a multitude of things, but I'm firmly on the line that it's something to do with Athamar's.
Fair enough.
In some regard, because it links it to an interesting degree.
That's what they're after.
Let's just hope that Plague River hasn't given them any sort of power up, because that's the loss. Please, bear us, Skittles.
So, just saying, Bolsterlee is not the most popular military posting, so I think that's another W for Obregon. Just keep racking these up.
Right, unless anyone else has any other things they want to bring up about this particular article at all, we'll go on to what I would say is the one of... No, fuck it. This is the biggest thing
This is huge.
in the Winds of the World. Full stop.
Yeah.
Oh, it is terrifying.
Put it simply, folks, Bordevar is facing down 40,000 power.
40,000 blades.
From
all
3
along
different sources.
All along the northern edge and the eastern edge. The
Yeah.
Onyx have put their 3 sub-factions together and have effectively surrounded what is left of the Kingdom of Bordevar. And
Yeah.
this really brings into the question of if the Concord is going to bring itself together to aid Bordavar, or are they going to completely abandon the kingdom? Because Skittles has stated that areas are usually captured in 3 stages unless it narratively makes sense for basically special rules to apply.
Yeah.
And I would say that likely with this attack, if we fail to do any sort of thing at Summit, like the Onyx could very much effectively steal 2 out of the 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'd be inclined to agree, or just all 3, depending on how things go.
Yeah.
Like you could just take it. Like yeah, it's really, really bad, and the more terrifying part is even if all of our armies, specifically armies, were at full power, we wouldn't have enough to match 40,000 with armies alone. That's not counting any military investments.
But also, we do have strategic confluxes coming up as well. To possibly cut off some power before the big war happens.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of them. Skirmishes. I would be amazed if there weren't minor confluxes. Yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of a whole bunch of chances to do some damage to the forces and maybe get that number down. Because woof, this is some woof time.
Yeah, that's the impression I get of this upcoming summit. Is it's going to be very much hitting the ground running to fight like a giant tidal wave that's coming our way. The impending doom feeling.
Mm-hmm.
From last training, talking to my fellow Bordavarians, they are not sure if anyone from that training from the other realms are willing to really stand in the line of fire to at least try to help. Because obviously with this winds, there's lots of things happening. There are lots of opportunities for certain things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laronamir's got some problems going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Windholm specifically, but mostly just Iron Valley in general, has got some really big shit going on.
Yes.
That I do not believe we're going to be covering this part, but we'll see.
Right.
We'll get to that. We'll get to the Lego situation, as I'll call it. Yeah, Greenfield has some inner schism stuff going on. Again, we'll get there, but yeah.
Greenfield has some opportunities for exploration as well that would yield a lot of interesting lore.
Yeah,
It's going to be very
there's
a lot of Greenwood characters, I think.
Yeah, but in the case of the tide of bone and flesh on the way, and plague, bone, flesh, and plague on the way. Look, in my time here at Concord, and I've been to almost every summit bar the first one, I have witnessed situations where I did not think the Concord was going to all pull together for one thing, and they've done it pretty much every single time. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen here too, even if it's the case of the majority of folks going to fight on the confluxes need to be Bordavarians. I have a feeling that a lot of the other realms are going to put in background work.
Like it even says here that on the very first day of summer, like literally game in, there are back-to-back confluxes
Mm.
to try to disrupt the Onyx Warfront, both to the east edge of Bolivar and to the northern edge, and yeah, that me as a Bolivarian player, my main fear is that since the big betrayal that has not colored the rest of Bolivar as we deserve this fate, even though we've been fighting this enemy for 18 years in the game's lore, because 5 people and certain other people didn't choose to stay with the Concord or even speak up about what was going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely, there's going to be a lot of diplomatic elements to this to this summit, I think, between Bolivar and other realms.
And on top of that, Bolivar is expected to host a Realmic festival as well.
Yeah, you are.
And considering how this is on the first days, just as the Realmic festival is also on the first day, there is a real good chance that Bolivar camp is literally dead because all those players died.
Yep.
That'd be awesome, though, wouldn't it? What a feeling.
Okay, would it be
Just
spectacular? Yes. Would it suck? Yes.
Yeah, it would be awesome in like the traditional sense of the word, invoking so much awe, just all that
Lot of
death.
awe. Yes.
yeah,
Oh, it would be pain though.
like that is definitely a very narrative hitting thing, but it is also terrifying for what it means for the future.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah, you go.
because yeah, like both of these complexes, like the one has to be led by
Louis
by Sir Louis Soir,
Yeah.
and the other by the Wayland Senator, which I am proxy for, and I am obviously going to try to fight as well, if I am even allowed to, because someone has to be Senator of Wayland.
Yeah.
Even if there's literally no one to even host the competitions or games.
Yeah, I definitely can see myself on top of the other stuff I'm gonna have to do this summit. I definitely think, like, being a, I guess, a negotiator would be the term to apply here on behalf of to the other realms is definitely something I would like to do, just because the character I'm playing has fairly positive connections with the majority of the other realms.
So does my character. I have fairly positive connections with almost every character I meet, and question is, will that be enough for them to shrug off that the betrayal did happen and people knew it was going to happen and said nothing? And are they going to help?
Yep.
Whether that is through ceremonies, potions, even just surgeons standing by, for the Bolivarians that do return from these confluxes. And anyone else that does go on these confluxes, that actually joins these confluxes, because yeah, basically almost anyone can go on these confluxes as well as Bordevar, such as the one with Sir Louis. It is listed under possible attendees open. It is completely open to anyone of the Concord. And then for the senators conflux is 15 Bordavarians and 10 other. It doesn't specify which other, just other.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone other than a Bordavarian can aid us. Whether that is through spell mages who know the fire spell that does 2 damage to the undead. Whether that is people who are excellent fighters, and it is honestly terrifying to think about. Is Bordevar going to be abandoned for the actions of House Avalon?
We'll have to wait
I
and
think,
see.
whichever way it goes, I think the future of Concord will still be very fun. Because as far as I've heard, if we do lose a realm, which is obviously not ideal, a lot of people say the game will end. As far as I've heard from Skittles, if it's not the Ronomir, the game will simply change in the way that we play it.
And I've even heard the other side of that, where even if Ronomir were to leave the Concord, there is still the chance that the game will still continue.
Yeah, I mean, we all love Concord, and it would be fascinating to watch, even if it was like a winding down scenario of holding the last picket in some field in Laronomir. It would still be fun.
And I highly doubt that the undead will be satisfied with just taking the kingdom.
Well, yeah, it's a fair point.
I think we're gonna need a miracle, but I'm holding out hope, so we'll figure it out.
Another miracle, a second miracle, miracle 2.
I feel like we needed a miracle more now than we did then, to be fair. Right?
Oh yeah,
this feels worse. Why waste a miracle back then? Why can't we take that one back and bring it now?
Hold on, let me go get the 2 people who were there to lead the miracle. Oh wait, they joined the fucking Onyx.
Yeah, maybe theirs wasn't a fucking miracle. Maybe we deserve another miracle, huh? They stole our miracle.
You were begging to a creator that has no soul.
Whoa.
I'll have to say.
Oh wow.
Could we just briefly talk about how interesting these 3 leaders are as well?
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because one of them. So, on top of the fact that all 3 of these people, one of them in particular, mainly, has been mentioned in Shard Circle writings a couple of times.
Now, who's that?
Remortis.
Uh-huh.
This is the Plague Crafter, the Mage of the
Jennifer
First
Remortis.
Seal.
And the Wraith of Port Gargan.
Yes, and the Wraith of Port Gargan, who I did not know, because the name Wraith of Port Gargant came up in, I think it was Summer Summit last year. I had no idea who that was. Now I do.
Port Gargant is a real place in the Steel Archipelago in the north of Portugal.
But yeah, so I knew about Remortis to a degree. We also have, I don't have the name because it's trawling through everything, but the head of the other faction, not the Marble Gauntlet, the other one.
The big boy.
Yes, the guy that is
Radomir the Veil.
This dude that's responsible for taking Dindar.
So this is what's fucking insane. Yeah. So the head of Marble Gauntlet, or the is Sir Thordis Revet, thrice risen. So this guy's body is obviously mechanically fucking tough. And how do you pronounce it? Scion of Bordevar? I think that essentially means like the heir.
Yep.
Or the offspring of Bordevar, which is kind of weird.
Slave.
It's very weird.
Yeah. So obviously his boss, the Chancellor, Radomir the Veil, is now rocked up with like the most veteran army in history because these guys took out Dendar and Hukar.
Dendar, the Hukari, yeah,
Yeah.
and
I mean that's a pretty good resume in and of itself.
It's a case of like, I guess it presents tactical opportunity because there is the thing of like, okay, we have these three forces. Obviously, Remortus and Plague, super bad. Probably want to deal with that. Marble Gauntlet, it's the one that's been popping up the most. Maybe want to punch that one in the face and get it dealt with. But we have this other schmuck that has rolled up and gone like, this is the dude that's responsible for the current situation with Dendar. If we just remove this schmuck, that could be a weight off of Dendar and a way through to positive negotiations going forward a lot better.
Yeah.
possibly to cut off the snake's head.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's giving us a peek at the fact that there's complex internal politics in the Onyx Empire, right?
Thing is that at the trainings, like like at the fight trainings, the elite knights are beefy as all hell. Like around like 15 or 20 HP. Like that is beefy as fuck.
Jeez.
Uh,
But anyway, bring spare characters.
Bring spare characters. Look, I'm holding out for that miracle, alright? Fingers crossed. We'll figure it out. We always do.
Like, really, you are the priest of Panoply, which is the sphere of prosperity, whereas really we need to turn to the priests who are of Lumos, the sphere of hope, of
Well, what happened to the priests of Lumos, huh? Where are they gone? I knew one Lumos sect. Where are they?
Jimmy-
They're on the other team.
No, I believe there's a couple more now.
Okay.
Well, I hope they've got enough.
If they don't,
I definitely hope so too. There is definitely a crisis of faith.
That's why we need. So I think we need hope, right? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm converting to Lumos now.
Don't.
Seems more useful than Panoply these days.
Does it now?
Well, we're not hitting a lot of high moments, are we? That's what Panoply's for. We need hope. That's what we need. We don't need. Oh, here's how to do with a little. We don't have any money. We don't need Panoply right now.
You, a priest, dare deny your own sphere.
now here's
All the spheres are my sphere.
here's the big thing though. How many God of War ceremonies do we want to pull off?
How many can we? That's the question.
If we slam all the crystal mana into it and we get enough people with enough combat skills, we could probably get maybe one or two.
I don't know, man.
God
Last
of-
time we
God
did a
of
bunch
War
of big
is
ceremonies back to back.
Arcadian.
It's the one that
God of
kills
War-
you afterwards.
Do we have
Yeah.
enough combined mag between priests of Arcadia?
Yeah, the Anarch sect did the oh, not Anarch. Wait, Arcadian. It is different.
Arcadian.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the
Yeah,
kicker.
there's plenty
is-
of big Arcadian. Well, it's fucking the Troopers Arcadian, aren't they? They could probably just do a shitload of drugs and they could get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's doable
So let's
to
do it.
get us a couple more, the equivalent of a couple more armies, to maybe help with this situation.
I'd take the God of War at this point. I'd become the God of War and
With
die. That'd be fun.
virtually no power to you at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
My worry is if much like with the Golden Fortress ceremony, is there going to be another problem going
course.
to like backlash
Sure.
from
As long as we
overtaking
keep
this ceremony?
As long as
basically?
we keep the square clean, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Well, I mean, you die at the end of God of War anyway.
Yes, but that's a normal part of the ceremony.
Yeah.
That's not a weird side effect because
So what's the
someone couldn't
worst thing
clean
that
their
could happen?
station. Well, as long as
Um,
the thing is clean, it should be fine.
I feel like God of War would be a good combination to Pierre's
I'm
story
beginning to
arc.
think they didn't clean it on purpose.
I think we should do it on Pierre.
We should do it up here.
Honestly, he talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. How serious is Pierre about the war?
I think it's between Pierre and Valric who's got the
Pierre
most
wouldn't
combat.
do it because it's not a boat, and I think that's fair. You gotta have somebody that's on land.
Well, maybe Valric then.
What about you, Scott? You want to do it?
I don't have enough combat skills. But anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it
You can be
does.
a god.
No, like okay, the God of War good part is that you can be a walking army depending on how many combat skills you have.
yeah.
If you have no combat skills, congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So you
worthless.
We've got a lot of combat skills. We got to be keeping a lookout for the,
Also, to be
the
clear,
lamb, the
unique-
sacrificial lamb.
To be clear, unique combat skills. So stacking energy and Juggernaut won't do
All
anything.
right, look
Yeah,
out, Concord. I will be paying close
people-
attention to your
People
skills.
who have archery, weapon master, bulwark,
that
like
kind of thing.
those type of combat skills.
Yeah, I think if you have every single one of them, I think you can get like, what is it, like 4,500 or
Like-
5,000 power.
Which will help.
Which character has lived long enough and visited Summit enough to have those?
There are
Valric,
like-
yeah.
there are ceremonies that
I
can
don't want
also
Valric to kill himself.
learn. There are ceremonies that can have you, as part of a test and trial, gain combat
There-
skills.
Is Kelstein still alive? I think he's been around every summer. I think
Mm.
he could do it.
No comment there.
No
Moving
idea.
on.
I could not tell you. Genuinely could not tell you. But yeah, so God of War is an option
Wait.
around the problem, but it's, yeah, this is bad. This is really, 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 really bad.
Shall
This is
we
very bad.
carry on?
Indeed, yeah. I don't think there's much more that could be said about that situation, other than just it's
Prayer
bad.
helps.
Um,
Prayer helps.
yeah, in the spheres light, we pray to save Wayland, and it's
At the very least, just make it
Either-
painless for them at this point.
Either the town of Little Bordevar that is located in Leonamer is going to become Large Bordevar.
big
New
border.
border.
like
Large.
there is legit a settlement in Leonamer called Little Bordevar, which Bordevaran refugees have fled to because they are so terrified of the Onyx. And
Hard to blame them.
We're always welcome.
And-
here.
and yeah, I can definitely see the scenarios of more people fleeing the kingdom because they are so scared.
Well, then we just have to not have Wayland fall. Simple.
Boom.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
simple.
Just-
it's an easy equation.
just a
Yeah,
very
easy
simple
equation.
thing
Yeah,
to
you know, fucking Bordevar minus Onyx aristocracy equals Bordevar. It's fine.
Yep.
It's math. It's just basic math. The math doesn't lie. Speaking of math, civil service report.
My favorite part.
Right. So, a lot of this isn't super important. Well, in the context of this podcast. But
I think it's all important. I think it's most important.
you'll,
frankly.
you'll see what I mean in a minute. So, basic first thing, the Ray School of Embers, new magic school is up and running. Love that. It is a Concordian school, so any Concordian mage can stand to be its headmaster. Excellent. Love to see it.
And thus choose the research.
Indeed.
I think that was a nice high note at the end of last summit. You know,
That was a really
getting
good
it
high note.
That was nice.
Very proud of the shard circle on that one.
Ha.
Cool.
The never.
Yeah. So NASA Fest
The
is not going to
never-ending-
be done until next year. winter next
Yeah.
year.
That shit's cursed.
So yeah, this fucking port has been going since what, game 2, maybe game 1.
Game 1. I got the first letter. Game 1.
But we have confirmation there are boots on the ground trying to get it done.
It's impossible. The universe itself is preventing that port from being built. It's too powerful.
Struggle is divine.
They can't allow it.
Struggle is divine.
But this port is not struggling. This port is
Yeah,
suffering,
it's
man.
special.
This port is suffering, bro. Where's the moon when you need it?
Struggle is divine. Is that not the words of panoply?
The words of Lumos are suffering is also not divine. There's a midpoint between struggling and suffering. Alright.
You know, be priest of panoply, allow deals with pirates to happen, and pirates gun sack your city. You know?
Well, I have no idea what
Consequences.
deals with pirates you think I allowed to happen. I wasn't there for that. What do you mean?
Uh-huh.
I got a squeaky clean record, thank you very
Uh-huh.
much.
Sure.
And as if as it was, Brooklyn was legitimately at peace the entire time I was in office, and it was my doing. Thank you very much. I will not take this any further from here. Who's getting elected for what?
Yeah, that sucks for Nassafeza, but hopefully we can get it surviving through this summit and actually have it finished next
Hopefully.
year, which would be good to actually have that functioning for a multitude of reasons.
Yep.
Mainly money. Because the treasury needs it. Right, this next part's actually really cool. So through the use of the ashes of a Thunderheart corpse, I can only assume this is some kind of monster. The butcher, perhaps, I'm not sure. But we'll get the basic information, and then whatever stuff is around that, yeah, feel free.
That was a enchanted tree that the Zerkatal Grain and Grail
Okay.
set off in the orchard itself to wreak havoc on.
Okay, understood. Cool, love it. That has been used to power up the Eisen Orchard permanently. Now it functions as a tier 1 herb garden on top of producing Thunder Oak. That is now a permanent thing. That's wildly cool. That makes that investment, strategic investment, as it were, a hell of a lot more valuable at baseline, just because it's Thunder Oak. Thunder Oak is always good, but also now giving herbs, it's a nice bonus. It's a very, very nice bonus.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to mention anything about additional upkeep, which is also really, really nice, because that would have sucked. We then have the list of titles up for election, which is all the usual contenders, all your champions, your war mages, war priest,
A full-on replacement senator.
Yep, replacement senator. The general of the desert, whisperers. A bunch of the generals getting elected. A new duke for Bordevar is up, along with the sheriff for the area as well, the sheriff of Arbington, which is neat.
Yeah, we are now going to have 2 dukes and sheriffs. Because Wayland is split up into like 3 subsections, which are called duchies. So yeah.
We have, is it, what, 4? Yeah, no, 3. Monsieur with functioning eyeballs can correct me. 3 high priests up for election.
Yeah, they swap every time.
Oh, okay.
So this
cool.
is a different 3 from last time.
Neat.
Also, the High Priest of Lumos died last summit, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did they manage to elect anyone to lose it very shortly, or
Nope. Not from
so
what I
it's
know.
sitting empty right now?
I think
Alright,
so.
well, not for long,
Something
hopefully.
else,
Well, for the
something
coming
else
summit.
is
There is-
High Historian.
Yes, of
everyone,
course.
please remember at the next summit, that role goes up to the
Hey! Look, you're telling
at the
people what to
last
do in
summit-
character.
at the
Hey!
last summit-
Not allowed.
I'm just saying, So people are aware
Meat
it is
gaming.
elected by the Senate. Last summit, during the Senate session, there were not really any people there to watch, and it went going once, going twice, no high historian, which means losing very important lore that the game could have. Anyway,
Yeah. Please be like I would argue every one of these roles are very important, and they all need someone to stand in them so that they can actually function. Like even high historian, it might not seem like it can do much, but you can literally research about anything. It doesn't have to be history. It could be about potential trades with other nations that was done once. It could be about certain practices that I know one senator was complaining about
farming?
high historian not researching farming. But
No.
yeah, like a high historian's job is to pick a subject and just research it, and yeah, whatever information that yields, whether it is possible trade opportunities, possible ancient practice, or even look into myth and legends.
Yeah, is an open-ended blank check that's just, what do you want to research? Go. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has the opportunity to yield some pretty cool stuff, and it's already yielded some very, very cool and very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, on top of the headmaster, on top of the high historian positions, we've got both headmaster positions, both done by Charlotte Circle, of course. We have the 3 deeds for this summit going up. We have the deed to the we have the Rumwell Vastness, Athamar's Folly. Well, I believe one will be the first night, the other will be the other night.
They're all Saturday.
No,
They're all Saturday.
No, they are not. No, they are not. That has been updated. So yeah,
they all say Saturday Eve on here by auction.
Yeah, but that's not what the errata post says.
Because honestly, that would be too much for one auction. I think.
Yeah, that was a genuine mistake. So
Okay.
there will be, I believe, one of the mithril deeds will be up on Saturday, and the other will be up on Sunday. I want to say the Artisan Orchard might be up on Saturday as well.
Orchard is on Sunday.
First on the
there
list.
We go.
So
there you go, on Sunday. Done. Cool.
As skills post.
Right, that's pretty much it for all that.
And then we have the War Mage and War Priest for the War Chamber.
The normal stuff on top of champions. It's every summit. Though, worth noting, War Mage is elected by the Shard Circle. The War Priest is chosen by the High Priest of Arcadian. And in essence, the title is there if you are requested to the War Chamber, which you will be more often than not. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yep. And then we have the Treasury report, which is slightly inaccurate in terms of how much coin we have.
Yeah. So,
yes, the explanation, a negative was subtracted, which creates a positive.
So basically, it's
Fantastic.
It's roughly 10 volts less than what is listed will be in the treasury for the coming game, which is not amazing.
So yeah, I believe it was about 21 or 22 volts in the treasury.
Yeah.
Which would support us for roughly 2 games if we spent nothing in the Senate. Which, and then after that, we go into the red.
Yeah. Yeah, money-wise, this is not great. Could be a lot worse. But
at least we got money. That's something.
We got money.
True.
There have been times where that's been in question.
Yep.
We got money and we're doing our best to spend it wisely, right, Senator?
Are
Right.
you looking at me who spent no Senate funds at the last sum? Yeah.
You're a hoarder then. That's against panoply.
He's not the
Yeah.
treasurer. He's not a hoarder. He's also not a throne.
He's
So
the one who
definitely not a hoarder.
spends the money.
And any senators, the treasurer wants you to spend funds from your own realm to save the Concord's treasury.
Which a lot of the
Stop meat
realms have been
gaming,
doing.
Jeez.
So
Yeah, a lot of the realms have been doing it, so it's
yeah,
fun.
it's actually really cool to see now. Like a lot of the realms are getting into the mindset of like gather our own money and then just throw it at stuff we want rather than having it go through the Senate for commissions. Because like there's a surprising amount of
Yeah.
things that realms can just commission on their own.
I'm just
The,
saying, in terms of real world history, this is going to present some problems sometime in the future.
I mean,
That's all I'm
sure,
gonna
but it's
say.
also presenting problems now.
Yeah.
So-
The Concord is still very young, okay? We're
It'll be
fine.
fine.
Hopefully, we continue to be a Concord for the foreseeable future instead of 5 separate roles.
He's hoping that when, assuming, I'm going to remain hopeful that it will be the port of Nasafeza being finished, that'll be another nice little tax income, or possibly additional tax income.
I can hope.
It should be, as far as my letter that I first got all those years ago is concerned, it is supposed to increase just specifically the tax revenue
So,
and
that'd
allow
be
for a
really,
place
really
for
good.
navies to dock.
Would love that.
Without like things getting slashed in half because of any dock wars.
Oh boy, we can get into that.
We'll deal with that later, shall we?
But anyway, moving
Yeah,
on.
later.
Can I talk about the Concordian bonds? I will say that was my idea ages ago. alright?
Oh boy, alright.
I've got the original bonds that I made as a prototype for the
Mhm.
Merchants Guild. They didn't want them.
So, I'm gonna start this one off on the bonds here real quick because I got a couple hot takes on this. So I'm not a fan of the bonds. For the pure factor that it is an assumption that people will buy them and then cash them in whenever they get called in, and thereby the treasury will just hemorrhage money all over again. This is all being done in the assumption that we will get a shit ton of capital and it will be offset, and I don't think it will.
I can speak to this because I've studied the economics of bonds, right? For the bonds that I designed. But from my
Mr.
understanding
Bond?
about bonds, it's specifically has been very useful in wartime. So a big part of specifically World War II for like the US, for example, was issuing these bonds. And here is kind of like, I guess, the philosophical argument behind the purpose and use of a bond. So if you're in a war and you're running low on money because you've got wartime expenditure and you want to transfer money from the private sector into the public sector for the ability to fight in the war, if you're just focusing on, you could be a tyrant and just like steal everybody's money, but if you're a democracy like the Concord is, then you have to find it. Exactly, you have to find another way, right? So when the government issues bonds, they're basically saying, we will offer you a loan for this amount where we are taking the loan at very good interest for you, because that's a 20% interest, which is really good investment. Now, here's the thing. If you live in the Concord, right, your survival depends on the Concord's survival. But your survival also depends on your personal ability to eat on a given day.
Sure.
You can't be expected to give everything to your government. But if they're asking for money to preserve you on a grander scale in a massive war, what they're saying is, look, we know it's not ideal, but we will offer you an investment with the government of the your survival depends on its existence at a really good interest rate, because we're desperate for the money, but we want to make sure that you still have that money. And that we will, because here's the thing. There are two options with how the wars play out for the Concord. Either we win or we lose. If we win, we'll probably have the spoils to pay things back. The point of a bond is that, and I don't know if this has actually been spoken through for the treasury or whatever, but you're supposed to keep as much of that money from the bond tucked away and not spent as possible, so that it's significantly easier to pay back later. It's only for when that worst case scenario happens that you really do need to spend it. And in times like these, having like an extra few volts lying around, that could be really important, even if we have to pay back an extra volt in the future. So that's my in defense of Concordian
Sure.
bonds for the podcast. For you.
Sure. Again, I'm still at the point of, I don't think this is going to get as much cash flow as is hoped. And
That's
thus
why
the...
I'm advertising it on a podcast.
No, I understand. I know, like, I get it, but it's the case of...
by bonds.
It's the case of, like, an average Concordian hero will come to the summit with one block, which means they can afford one bond. Your average Concordian citizen turning up with one lock most likely won't be buying one bond. Yes, you could then point to the people with surplus of wealth that will very much be considering buying multiple bonds, because why wouldn't they? They've got the capital to do so. Again, my worry is
buy like 1,000 bonds.
yeah, like my worry is this is gonna go very poorly for the Concordian treasury, even more than it is now. Because yes, war bonds have worked in the past, absolutely. I'm just not confident they're gonna work here.
And this is also running under the assumption that Concordians have the same level of knowledge about bonds as Jimmy.
Well, that's what I'm here for, to make sure everybody knows about bonds, right?
We will Jimmy will create a slideshow just for this podcast.
I don't know, if people want it, leave a comment, up the engagement of this video, leave a comment saying if you want me to put together a presentation to present for the Senate in favor of bonds. Just for the people.
Get you some big ass cue cards for your
Yeah,
slides.
literally, that's what I would do. I'd get them printed off on foam core poster board or something, I don't know.
Mhm.
Just giant sheets of parchment or even like a giant blackboard that Rizil just writes on.
Rizildo Panoply is a marketing genius. He basically invented marketing in the Concord, alright?
Sure.
I could sell bonds. I can
Mhm.
sell bonds to the Concord.
Okay. Scott, what do you think?
Don't really have much to add about bonds. I'm looking forward to the lottery. I think the lottery will have a lot of engagement.
The lottery, I think, is going to catch on really.
I'm
there's
concerned about it for the mental health of the Concord. though.
Look,
Everybody's dumping all of their money into the lottery.
and this is what I find funny, is I think people are definitely going to jump on this because gambling is fun, and everybody would love to win what is probably going to explode into like 3 or 4 volts. What Skittles pointed out when this was proposed is that other nations with their own economies are going to look at what's happening in the Concord, and if we have a tidal wave of people pouring their keys into a lottery to try and win like maniacs, it may cause economic speculation, but that will be fun to play out.
Speculation being that we're rich as shit privately, but not publicly.
Worth noting.
No,
as
but
you go. Good.
but a lottery is gambling, and gambling can be very predatory, especially against those who basically have no hope but hoping to gain money in order to somehow better themselves. Considering we are a country who is in war times, which is where money is usually at its least valuable, yeah, it can definitely be seen as very predatory, and other nations going, are we sure about these guys?
I think also just for nations like Denda that are trying to match their currency against ours,
They
it's
have
gonna be-
specifically said that we have to be careful with our
yeah,
economy.
it's going to be quite a
Less-
headache for them.
Mm.
But I look forward to watching the lottery.
The thing is worth noting of saying, this could explode into like someone being able to win, 3 volts or whatever. Like, it's worth noting you will win half the money that goes into the lottery, not all of it. The other half will go to the Concordian treasury.
Yeah, so it will make the treasure money.
A little bit.
Do you know if it'll be a Powerball system or like something else?
No, you win or you don't. It seems to be
Probably-
very clear cut.
So like a raffle? So there's always a winner?
Mixed up tickets.
It would appear
Okay.
to be, yes. And it's also just the most straightforward system they could do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Much more
lottery
like a
time.
raffle.
Yeah, I
that
think
is
one.
expected to be randomized.
I'm gonna blow all
Expected.
my money on bonds and lottery tickets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy like
Brazil, the priest of
it's very
Panoply.
panoply. It is very panoply.
I'm gonna buy like 100 keys worth of lottery tickets to see what happens.
Do it.
Yes,
I'm considering
Panoply, the spear of prosperity, and not.
No, but if you do it, then I'm not as likely to win.
I don't care.
Maybe don't advertise your intentions on here, Jimmy.
No, but that means it's better we discuss it. Why don't we pull together?
Nah,
That would be an in character.
Collusion?
nah.
Yes,
no,
it
what
would.
what
Just
would actually
rig
be
the
really
system.
funny?
Alright,
What I
put
would
in the comments,
love-
everybody,
Hold
if
on.
you want to collude with me on the lottery.
Hold on. What I would love actually is like an entirely new player like turns up. It's
You
like
just
I would
buy
like to
one
buy
ticket.
one ticket and they win. I would be so happy for that person. I would be
You know,
so
that's what I'm gonna
happy.
do. I'm gonna buy just one ticket because I
Uh-huh.
bet I'll win. Alright,
One.
that's how
Uh-huh.
it works, right?
But
I'm not actually a
what
gambler.
about
I'm
you?
actually really lucky. So just wait. I'll do it.
Okay.
Um,
We will see how your luck compares to others.
All right,
Indeed.
Scott. Now, while they're not listening, we're gonna put all our money together and buy as many lottery tickets as we can.
Yeah.
Alright?
it's still your
And
mics
then
are
they'll
still
they'll think I'm a
Jimmy.
god.
Uh-huh. Someone please get the heresy
Oh,
hook.
careful.
Someone
Oh
get the
my God.
heresy
What
hook.
heresy? But the heresy books, like the ones written
No.
by the fucking war
No, no, no,
criminal.
no,
What do you
no, no,
mean?
no, no, no. Jimmy, I said heresy hook.
Heresy. That sounds alarming.
Yeah, drag this man away. Get him out of here. Yeah, so worth noting, both bonds and the lottery will be under observation by the civil service post summit to see if it is working as is intended, and by the Concordian Constitution, of course.
Yeah.
And of course, any I imagine it's listed here for any questions or whatever, to go see the Concordian treasurer, being Captain Leonardo Bondavel of the Renome.
Who's an absolute G.
Quartermaster
Have
report.
you seen this suit? What a look! It's so.
Big thumbs up.
I
for
love that.
Bono.
I want that suit.
Yeah, quartermaster report. Fortress is still not built, everyone. Because of the nature of the church's veto, that had to be done the summit after. So technically, even though this was meant to be built like 3 summits, it's 4.
Do we know what the names of the walls were going to be? Are there any that need to be changed now, given events?
It was going to be named after Peregrine, I believe.
That's fine.
One of the towers. I think it's
Yeah,
about
that's
5.
okay. I thought there were like 7 or something.
Okay. Peregrine is one of.
Peregrine's
Yeah.
fine. As long as there's no problematic names, it should be fine, right?
Yeah, as far as we know, Peregrine.
Yeah, nothing problematic at all. Just ignore the 40,000
I'm not
enemies
ignoring them.
along
I'm
the border.
praying for a miracle. All right, that's what I'm doing.
Same.
Maybe you should pray for a herald to come down and help us smite these
I think we're
bitches.
gonna need more than just one herald. We're gonna need a few.
We're gonna need
things.
the heraldric version of the Avengers just to turn up
Yeah.
and start kicking teeth in. That would be kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna happen.
They've got 3 cool people. Why can't we get 3 cool people? Why can't we get a set? Why can't we get an eternal set? That's what I want.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. In other news, we've got the Desert Whisperers, as mentioned earlier, whose maximum strength is now 7,500. Worth noting that is not their current strength. The Valley Zone are undergoing reinforcements and will be done and at maximum strength of 7,500 by the Winter Summit, assuming nothing terrible happens to them.
Yeah, they're doing okay. I believe they did recuperate a little in Oregon, as far as I know.
That's good. Yeah, not really too much to say to these for the most part. Diplomatic service report. This is the most basic of all of it. We're at war with
But
the
it's still
people
important. We're still gonna.
we will. Worth noting. We're still at war with the people we've always been at war with. That has not changed.
Yep.
We are neutral with the people we've been neutral to the entire time. That has also not changed. There is a note about the Dendar here, which is interesting. They've clarified that the Onyx aristocracy involvement with the Dandarian nations is not hostile. I don't know.
At least.
I don't know how much I believe that.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna talk about it too
So
much.
I think the point
business
there
stuff, but
is that we can still be friends with the Dendar, despite
Yeah.
them being sort of...
if we're okay in the position with the Onyx aristocracy,
And if the Dendar are cool with us,
fighting their overlords.
Yeah.
Which they seem to be. They've not seemed to
Look,
said
from-
anything bad about it.
look, from what I have gathered is that Dendar has effectively bent the knee towards the Onyx, the Onyx.
They're very defensive about it as well.
Yeah.
Pretty suspicious, if you ask me.
Look,
Didn't their visitor passage kind of skirt around the topic a bit?
Yep.
Yeah, but he was also horrible. Just a really downright misogynistic and rude man. But he partied hard, which is, very
yeah,
party.
he was definitely a womanizer.
I heard he got the shit beaten out of him in a tent.
And he liked it too, which is weird, but good for him. Glad he got what he wanted out of the experience. He looked like he had a lot of fun.
He did.
Important note: he is alive. Okay, this ambassador is
Oh, good, I
alive
was
and
curious
went
about
home
that.
safely.
Which is great news.
I think he's going to go back to the Dendari and inform them that we are
We're gonna
insane,
get some tourism.
mongering bandits, but it'll be fine.
It will
He's
be
the
fine.
fucking crazy one. We're not crazy.
It'll be
Well,
fine. He had a
some of
great.
us-
He had a
He-
great time. It'll be fine.
He had a lot of pride and pompous around him, that of a very, of obviously a very well-renowned hero or such, and just full-on expected his name to be known by everyone. Like
There's some
that
Concordians
is
that are like that.
It's come to my attention that the Concord is very far behind. And everyone else has got all this knowledge. It's like, this guy's like a well-known travel explorer, and we're just like, we don't even know about him. Imagine what he's seen. Can you fathom it?
If only there was a
we're
high
babies.
story that looked into local
I know,
heroes
right?
or something.
It would be great.
It'll
It'd
be
be a
fine.
great topic.
It'll be fine. Yeah, Concord is currently uneasy with the Hukari, as per usual. Ardabazan Empire, big fucking surprise. The Adanji Shahad. I guarantee I'll flip-flop on how I pronounce that for the rest of time. The Kingdom of the Bales, aka the other pirates, and the Trade Principality of Ravano, which is not outwardly hostile.
Well, we
But
haven't
The
declared.
nations
but,
are
you know,
either
trade is
standoffish
permitted.
towards
They
the
just-
Concord due to
it's fine.
diplomatic concerns
Yeah.
or some other reasons.
Yeah.
I can definitely imagine the other reasons.
Yeah, Ardabazan has closed the borders, which they've had for the longest time. It's nothing new. Yeah. The thing about the Trade Principality of Ravano making aggressive moves towards the Concord and has acted against the Concord whilst under the banner of the Twin Blade Confederacy is something I would like to make heavy note of. As a reminder.
I will say it was not my first choice for who we should have given that embassy to, but just saying.
I am inclined to agree for a wide multitude of reasons, but that is a lot of in-character talk that I don't want to go into here and shouldn't.
Yep. Take up with the sin.
Um,
All right, Senator, why?
right. No, not going to do it. Don't want to. I really don't want to. Otherwise, I'm going to be here a lot longer than we are. We got the 2 embassies, basic stuff. One in Wayland, one in Lorodimir. The one in Wayland is to Dendar, and the other is to the Trade Principality of Ravano.
I honestly wish Ash good luck. I do consider his character a friend to mine, and yeah.
Yeah,
I think he'll do alright.
we'll see.
He's got a lot to work with, but he's an honest young man. He'll do it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. War Chamber report. This is a kind of a new one. So from now on, we're going to get a public report from the War Chamber of what the fuck is going on and what they voted on, which is fine. From everything I've heard, this was pretty much becoming common knowledge anyway, and it's not really doing anything to operational security. Yeah, this is just voting on confluxes for the most part.
Hmm.
I'm going to be that guy. Just go and read it if you want. There's a lot to go through.
It's all boring war stuff anyway. Who needs it?
It's just a lot of these people voted for this, these people voted for this. Just yeah.
Here's who to blame when something goes wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, it does definitely less mystify the War Chamber.
Good. I think that's a good thing. Ease
Yeah,
the tension a little bit.
and yeah.
Hmm. Big thing to mention now. Really big thing. The War Chamber will now be open to the public. Though
Damn
there are rules. Seating offered to title holders and I believe aides first and foremost. Everyone else will need to get their seats after them or stand and basically don't talk. Just don't get involved. You can turn up and observe, and that's about it. Which is fine. It's more than fine, actually. There's a lot to say on this, more so like out of game stuff that I don't want to go into, and I don't need to go into. This sort of thing was kind of happening already with pulling in people to the War Chamber to look at stuff and give opinions on stuff. This is just a direction things were going already. And there is a note made that the Concord team will not be doing any kind of like infiltration spy stuff like has happened in the past. They're not going to do that again. So
I'm sure that's just what they want us to think.
uh-huh.
I'll always be on edge forever for vampires.
Sure.
We will no longer run NPC-led espionage content against the physical War Chamber.
Everyone's a threat. They could be anybody. Just remember, worms, Vampires, they're everywhere.
Yeah, it is also worth noting that the War Chamber reserves the right to eject anyone that attempts to, or that is interrupting the meetings. So you can, in fact, by
Yeah.
right, be thrown out if you make yourself a
The-
nuisance.
Even though I have never been in the war chamber, I imagine that they need to make decisions very quickly and have every general champion, so on and so forth, understand what the weight of their decisions will be. Thus, if there's someone actively disrupting the meetings, I'm perfectly fine with the idea of just full on throwing them out, because War Chamber quite literally does not have time for it.
Mhm.
I think good riddance. War Chamber kicked me out. They didn't let me in last time, and I was allowed. So just saying, this is what they get. All you War Chamber people, I win, bitch. All right.
Brazil has gotten his way.
I got my way once again. When will I ever learn? Never. Because I keep getting away with it.
Thing is,
Yeah, go ahead.
thing is that the first minister of foreign affairs wanted to get a whole like paper of where the minister of foreign affairs is allowed to go, including the war chamber, because they are the minister of foreign affairs. So knowing about foreign affairs, even on the warfront standard, would be very useful. And the minister of foreign affairs could have also given insight to possible things as well, considering, yeah, minister of foreign affairs is basically meant to be the person to go to, considering ambassadors and spy master info gathered.
Yeah, I knew about the 40,000 strength Onyx army before the Winds of the World. Because I got the knowledge as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, alright?
Another interesting note, I only literally just noticed now. This is kind of cool. So there is a change also coming to the War Priest and War Mage titles, in that they will no longer be held for one summit. They will be held for an entire year. They will still retain their vote. They will still retain everything they are. It's just they will now be a title held for a year rather than a summit, which is interesting. And I'm actually very okay with that, because it cuts down on busy work, and it means we can have work implemented by one War Priest or War Mage can just be seen through to at least the year's end, which is good.
Which, because it's like you can't actually line anything up if you're only there for one summit, you know. You need an extra summit to be able to actually see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
So very happy to see. I'm actually really happy to see that. That's actually great. God, that's going to make shard circle meetings go a little bit faster. Oh, so happy. Really, really happy. Yeah, there's not really too much else to go on about the war report, really. There, as I said, there's a big list of the different confluxes and things that were voted on for what was chosen to do. There are all the different votes. You can go and read that one for yourself. We're going to come to our last thing for this episode, given the time and given the fact that my laptop has decided to be a pain, so now I have to wait for it to catch up before I can actually end this episode proper.
Oh dear.
It's fine. It'll
Keep going forever.
No, it'll be fine. So we come to Leaves Among the Forest Floor. The basic version of this particular article is the Zerkatal have completely retreated and vanished, and no one knows why. Except we know why. We have the man that knows why, right here,
Yeah.
in that we have an armistice with Thorn, at the very least. Yeah. So
And we also annihilated Sister Oak's armies.
yes, we did
Uh.
thoroughly put the boot to Oak. Again, that is the second time now we have bloodied Oak's nose.
So, Jimmy, would you like to give us a rundown on that
Well,
armistice?
Please hold your applause. You could all applaud and cheer and grovel at my feet.
I applaud where I
Alright,
wish
ladies
and
and
when I
gentlemen,
wish.
But all I'm saying once again, it's fucking like it's just you know how many people when I came out of that fucking conflict, how many people came up to me and said, "You fucking Brazil, you should have killed him while you had the chance," right?
I mean, it
I
would have been
am
a baller move
100%
if you
confident.
did.
I'm 100% confident that any of those people, were they in that position, this would read something quite different. It would probably say, the Zergatal have doubled down and we're all dead, okay?
Mhm.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Look, the people used to make fun of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Do you know that? Do you know that?
I actually
Who would
do.
have thought that sometimes you can win a war without striking a single blow? Who would have thought that that was possible? I did the
Counterpoint.
whole
First of all, this is not.
fucking time.
First of all, this is
Claimed
not winning
to
a
win a
war.
war.
This is postponing a war for unknown reasons.
Well, it's yet to be seen whether or not it's won, but it's a step in the right fucking direction, isn't it? Right? It's better than them coming the other way.
I mean, hey, we've not made an embassy to them to have them stab us in the back later, so that's nice.
It's true, and
not
once
salty at
again,
all.
that was not my first choice either.
I
The
know.
Twin Blade. I wanted that to go to fucking Drummond. All right.
Yeah.
But look, either way, I think it's some good evidence pointing in the direction that I'm sure many people have neglected up until perhaps this very moment. That even though the enemies we're coming up against, we're at war with them and have the impunity to kill them without a second thought, it doesn't mean that we have to, right? There are always other options.
Yeah.
And I usually prefer the options that spare lives and money and resources. You know?
Mhm.
Wise actions, I would say. But
Sure.
that's just me.
I definitely think it's. I definitely think it's interesting. Of why Thorn specifically has come out of the woodwork and said, "Hey, let's stop doing this."
He definitely seemed like the smart one. I'll
yeah,
tell you
and-
what.
I would likely say it because Concord was in basically in invading Thorn's region until the Onyx went, "Oh, the Concord did all the busy work for us. Fantastic." And thus Zergatal realized, "Oh shit, there is something bigger and scarier to worry about." And I definitely see this as the opportunity of the enemy of my enemy is a friend.
Mm.
Whether or not they see us as a potential ally from Brazil's actions, or they see the Onyx as a potential ally. That remains to be said.
I think there's one thing I will say, and it's been demonstrated, especially by what's happened with the Twin Blade and their fragmentation into actual separate states, is that it's my understanding that the Zerkatal triad of Oak and Ash and Thorn didn't just like arrive one day and declare that they are one homogenous entity, the Zerkatal, and that they are unanimously declaring war on the Concord. What happened is there was groups of people that we identified as the Zergatal with their leadership that have communicated with one another and things like that. But my understanding is we had no indication that Thorn specifically and his forces were overtly against us and attacking us, but we attacked them. And that's it's kind of the hubris, isn't it? It's thinking that just because they've got that big enemy name tag printed on them, that we should just go full blown attack at everybody. I think that it shows that there's a level of nuance to Concord that shows that, there's a lot of thought going into it and nothing is ever as it truly seems. And,
Hmm.
Understanding what's going on and looking at it from afar
Hmm.
and thinking, what if this was an actual real place with real people? How would that work? Because I think that's how Skittles is trying to write it.
Sure.
All the STs.
Hmm. Not every rose bears thorns.
Mm.
Huh?
I like that. And not every. Sometimes a thorn is a rose.
Could
Yeah,
I?
print one and sell it. All
I-
right.
Yep, go ahead, Scott.
What I would ask, I think Jimmy's right that the Zergtile are more complicated than they appear from the surface, and that Thorn didn't appear to ask permission to start an armistice with the Concord. What I would ask is, does this represent a fundamental change in the Zergtile and their philosophy and their intentions, or are they just regrouping and biding their time? Because
Regardless, it's a good opportunity for
uh,
us to do the same
if
thing.
if we can learn anything from the history of the Green World, it is that there was an entire 30-year period in which the Zergtile went dark and disappeared, and then returned with their three new leaders even stronger than ever, and ripped their way through the baronies. But that is all I would say.
So I guess
We-
there's
we-
go ahead. Yep, go ahead, Melody.
We do have high historian info on them. If anyone would like to find it is on the wiki. Basically, someone looked into the witch and how
I've open
the
actually.
Zergtile is connected to the witch.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is very interesting on be because I have heard from other players that Oak and Ash very much bicker like siblings. Whereas whereas Thorn, we have very little information about him because we have yet to do any ceremonies of dream in the witch house or the like.
Centered
But
on him. Yeah.
Well,
He did tell me that he thinks that Okadash are, quote, something along the lines, sorry, paraphrasing,
Of course.
brutish and stupid, or something like that, as far
Which
as I can remember.
now that can be interpreted, I think, in a couple different ways. The one I think is the most interesting is we've seen them pull the whole Ash pulls the first strike, pulls out, Oak goes in, holds position. But every time that's happened, like with us so far, Oak, again, as I say, we bloodied Oak's nose twice now, in pretty spectacular fashion. There's probably, like, this could very well just be Thorn has paid attention and gone, all right, look, let's just stop this for like a year. You're clearly kicking their asses. They're idiots. They don't know how to adapt because they're clearly not adapting at all. They're just doing the same thing they've always done.
yeah.
So let's just stop for a bit. And it could be that, yeah, maybe they're regrouping their forces, or, as I say, this is Thorn kind of getting a little bit wise, going, all right, let's just leave it alone. Or they're dealing
Yeah.
with something else entirely that we have not perceived yet, which is also immensely distressful.
And
um because we also need to realize that just north of our map is literally any and all villains. Assumably the Hikari owns, which we don't know much about the Hikari, other than they are enslavers with their own religion and so on and so forth.
Yeah, plus we've got the new faction as well, the hermit crab people.
You're a hermit crab.
And if I remember the episode with Skittles correctly, I believe he mentioned there's like, I think he said 5? Um, I have he was about
I would imagine that these other factions are in the other continents because like there is a full-on nomad of people are legendarily known to not be able to be tracked down by any means, thus any
the Zamkane,
yeah
Now,
thus any and all possible trades is nigh impossible.
worth noting, I don't know. I do not know if Skittles was counting the Zamkanate amongst that 5, because
Yeah, but that is just a example of what these other factions might be.
Sure.
They might be extremely nomadic. They might be in completely different continents that we have yet to even discover.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, look at the hermit crab people. Like, we had no idea they really existed at all, and then bam, here's info on them, which is extremely intriguing from from the people that can sort of maybe see
Absolutely.
the through line connection stuff, but that's kind of its own thing. So there's options abound on what the hell is going on with the Zergatal.
Yeah.
It could be that this is the connection through with the Elsevier that we were talking about before with the Marlin. Like, there's who knows. Regardless, the Zergatal are no longer a threat, though we are still, as of this Winds of the World, we are still considered to be at war with them. Whether or not that gets brought up in the whether or not it gets brought up in the Senate, which I imagine it will, like someone to bring it up of going, all right, well, we're not at war with them, but we're not at peace with them per se. Also, just it's an armistice, just leave them alone.
Are we going to spend more money on building an embassy?
No, building an embassy. Okay, building an embassy for the Zergatal specifically, not worth it. Not at this stage. Jokes aside, of course.
Yeah, I think it's probably, I think it's good that they're gone for now. We'll just get to that and just let them,
take it
if
as
they're recouping, fine. We will recoup as well, I think.
Now,
but I was just going to say, as I mentioned before, people can scout the front line.
Yes, this is true. There's
And
a lot we could learn. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting movements going on in Esterra right now. A lot of which is kind of unknown. But yeah, woof.
I am going to point out one thing that maybe a lot of players will be tempted to do on sending armies just north of the Greenville Baronies to try to claim that territory, just so the Greenville has 2 regions, thus 2 senators. I would definitely say that right now we need to concentrate on being able to defend what we currently have rather than grappling for more land and territory.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree. Definitely for
that's
this summit.
Oh my god, guys! There's been some big news. On it's just been posted 15 minutes ago in the Concord chat. Sorry, do you want to hear it?
Oh,
Hold on, let me.
Character bags gone,
this is coming in hot.
and you get to take your character bag home.
What?
Seemingly,
Wait.
you
Okay,
will
hold
not
on,
be
hold on,
required to
hold on.
hand back your character pack at the end of summit. Oh,
Hold on,
surely
hold
we
on,
could
I'm
have a
pulling this up.
discussion
Hold on,
about this.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me pull it up.
Okay.
Let the host do his job. Damn it.
This is insane. How did you catch this,
Let the
Jim?
blind man see.
How did I catch this? Because I'm distracted and I'm scrolling Facebook. What do you want me to do?
Okay, hold on.
It was
And,
worth.
Hold on.
Kim Thomas has got 32 keys.
Well, Emily's one's there as well. I think it's just an example.
But her character's belongs to the ST team now. Oh, new character.
Because remember, your number, your unique access number, is for your human being, not your character. So your
That is
character
true.
pick is always the same number.
So,
We get bonus content in this podcast. How cool is that?
Okay, so
wow.
now some important details with this actually.
Breaking news.
So this is actually not dissimilar to Empire, being the sort of mother LARP of Concord. They do a similar thing to this. They give you a big pack that gives you all your stuff for the game, and I believe you do take your stuff back, your resources back with you, and you bring it to game. And it is one of those unspoken rules of keep it at game. Basically, don't do any trading outside sanctioned events, basically, or summits. Keep the game in the game.
I think it's really good. I think the ability to bring your money to training is going to be a fucking game changer.
Yes, that is
So
such. This is cool.
This has been brought up in the comments. Yeah, somebody said, "Can we do
I'm
trading?"
going to
with
be
new characters?
fucking rich.
And
Holy
yeah, it's
shit.
It does, and enabling this is deliberate part of this change. So go off.
I'll be
Jimmy,
able to
and
sell Andashi to Light every fucking fortnight. Oh my god, I'm going to be rich.
Oh man. Well, you've only got one training.
This cash cow.
Bring your trinkets to training, everybody. I'll buy them. I'll have a lot of money.
So okay. Now this begs the question: is this going to be a change going forward, starting from this summit, or is it like next training?
Well, there's an envelope
get-
there.
Mm.
Must be next summit. Won't be this training.
I would say the summit. Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Because they give them
that's
to us at
interesting.
summit, right?
Yeah, and then it does also state in the same post. Again, go to the Concord LARP Facebook page to go see this post. Does have the line about if you have any expenditure of resources to do, specifically for your stuff like you're upgrading your investment or whatever, some such. You can do that there. The thing that I guess how would I phrase this? This kind of makes the Google form a downtime submission thing of like upgrade your investment and that a little annoying now, because prior it was just click the button to say to do it, and they just take the resources out of your bag and it's done. Now it's you need to put it in a blank envelope, give them to that, write down that's there is that extra layer which is like kind of annoying, but
I
whatever.
can see where they're doing it though. It's shifting the responsibility onto the player instead of the
Yes.
ST team, which makes sense because there's like
When-
hundreds of players and only a few STs. So
Yeah.
When do we
Yeah.
receive downtime stuff? Then is there just going to be like envelopes at the start of game that we pick up or something?
Yeah.
So, okay, so yeah, at the start of game, you basically go get your envelope, which will give you, or your character pack, which will give you all the stuff you earned or have gained, or in the case of wounds as well, whatever, you'll get that in your character pack at the start of game.
Add it.
And then there'll be blank envelopes for, like, the resource submission stuff. I imagine this will get fine-tuned over time. No, this is really interesting, and yeah, like being able to just have your money, just like there's been so many times when I've wanted to show people like the Concord coins in person because they are so cool.
Yeah,
And they are so
this
pretty.
training very, very interesting.
Crap.
And
This is cool.
Oh man,
Um,
training's gonna be fun now.
oh,
I'm
there
gonna
are
be
going to
so
be
rich.
so many trinkets.
Jimmy can't believe how rich he's gonna be.
It'd be so cool
Yeah.
if every day's like a market at training.
I mean,
Everybody
it
their
can
best
be
stuff
now.
at trade. Yeah,
It can be
that's
now.
Yeah,
awesome.
you can just roll up.
There'll
with
be a little
stuff.
trade corner at the training.
Station events
That's
that are just
awesome.
market days.
Ooh,
You could literally
I'm not
just
opposed to
wrap
that.
the training as well.
That's really good. What a good net way for the money to spread.
Hmm.
Because I think people are a bit too, like, because I know for me, the fact that I only have access to that money twice a year, it makes me feel really different about spending it. I think just having that money and just knowing that if you make something and bring it to a training, you can make money back.
Mm.
I think that's going to do wonders for like shifting money out of the hands of people that might otherwise hoard.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I
it's
think
gonna-
part of the hoarding instinct comes from the fact that you don't get a big opportunity to use or spend that money much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of oh no, you know what this means? Anyone want to play some cards next training?
Yeah.
Next time we
Oh
get the
yeah.
money?
Oh
like,
yeah.
like there's so many things of like just gamble, or again like imagine doing auctions at trainings. Like there's so many cool avenues this opens up. There's some like negative avenues as well, theft of money and resources could become
But that's
more
going to
common.
be a problem regardless.
This is true. It does
Greater
bring up
accessibility means greater accessibility to others
Yeah.
as well. To
This
your
does
money,
bring up
unfortunately.
the question though. RP at trainings is considered a sanctioned event.
Yes.
Yep.
Does this mean you can be murdered at a training in
I've been
RP?
informed that you can, yeah.
Oh, and that information is now spread.
This would enable murder.
Kill each other, everybody. Take their money. Steal it.
You heard it here
Chaos.
first. People kill Rizal, take his money.
I will make sure I don't have any money. I'll buy too many trinkets.
Uh,
And once that money's turned into a trinket, you can't take it from me. It's mine.
this is fun. Like, yeah, just
I
being
like
able
it.
to
I
just
think the
have it.
positives outweigh the negatives.
I like this a lot. This is going to make the year between summits a lot more fun, especially
Yeah,
the
because
8 months.
honestly,
Hmm.
the worst part about Concord is just waiting for the next game. But now it's going to feel like there's always something going on.
Yeah, you
Which is
can
really
always
good.
And
I like that.
do stuff.
and you, Scott, can now pay your favorite Bordavarians.
Yeah, instead of just promising them and then not doing it.
know what you're talking about at all.
You
Um,
absolutely know what I'm talking
Meat
about.
gaming. We're meat gaming. Can't talk about it. You're not allowed.
But no, this is cool. This is gonna make. This is gonna make, because like I don't know about the rest of you, but like I've kind of had the vibe of like I enjoy the RP at trainings just as like I turn up, I vibe. More often than not, I drink alcohol and share alcohol. Scott, you know what I'm talking about.
We do.
You do. Oh, yes, yeah, yes. God, I still remember that gin. It was good.
Let's forget about that. Then. Yeah.
But yeah, like this now is going to transfer, because like trainings have been very chill, but it's rarely have they felt. I don't. At least for me, they've rarely ever felt like they mean something. Sometimes,
Yeah, they've felt a little bit like castrated.
Yeah, a bit
is that word.
wishy-washy,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
like
feel
sometimes, you'll
like
have
a simulacra of game.
Yeah,
which
like-
is we all want to be
yeah.
feeling that same way we do,
Mm.
right?
yeah.
I think
Right,
this is going to
right.
go a long way for that.
Oh, yeah.
And this and having coin be the responsibility of players also means that there is a possibility of more content to those who can't come to every single summit.
Exactly. Yeah. Or heaven forbid, like there's always the troublesome COVID test Facebook post, right, where everybody's doing their 15 minutes of whether or not this entire 6 months in between games has been wasted or not, right?
Mm.
Like being able to not feel so heavily pressured to be at game or to properly operate at game. I think that's going to make games feel a lot less stressful for a start, right?
Yeah.
But also easier to manage, you
Yeah.
know? Because everybody's frantically running around like a headless chicken because these are the only 3 days we have to do any of this shit.
And that was
Yeah.
that was something for me that was a big time stressor at the last game. It's just there was a series of economic interactions that I wanted to get done. Jimmy knows about in the first day or two that involved House Avalon, and since that went nowhere, that did involve a lot of precious time. Games now get that actually just getting roll or vibe out again.
It's one less thing to worry about as much at game.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Yeah, it's the sense of like prior to this being a thing, at trainings you don't like bar just like talking to people. You don't feel like you have a sense of like action, if that makes sense. You don't feel like you have the power to act other than just saying
Talking.
words and that's about it, right? Which, like, yes, I've had a lot of really good conversations.
Each other.
Yeah, I've had really good conversations at trainings where, like, you know, brokered deals and all that kind of stuff. Like, I've had that, but this opens the door. This cracks that door wide open for no, like, you can now just act so
what that
much
means,
more.
though, it's going to be a lot harder for me to weasel out of deals, which I usually do.
I mean, it's
By
also
hoping the
a
other
lot
person
easier for you
forgets
to
about
make deals and keep them.
Assassins.
I
can
find
also
I'm
be
weaseling out of
structured.
deals about as much as I'm making deals.
Oh,
usually,
yeah,
so-
actually, yeah, good
Yeah.
point, Melody. Like, this now does make assassinations quote-unquote easier.
Assassination is going to have more
I will
possibilities.
say
Also,
that trainings are so
also-
much more tight-knit and there's so fewer places to hide that you'd be
I mean,
hard-pressed to get away
You're
with
not trying
killing
hard
somebody
enough.
without them getting
well,
caught.
look, here's what I think: having the genuine skill of pickpocketing, like in character coins, is going to be something you can practice across the year and actually get good at. And Asherland Dash is probably going to have a lot of fun with that.
Just remember, everybody, don't actually pickpocket, but if you find one anyway, it's yours. You can take it home.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, if they put a pouch with coins,
You can't open a pouch if it's closed. You
if
can't
it's open, it's open.
Yeah, well, then you'd be a fucking fool to leave it open.
Well, no. To be clear, do not pilfer any non-game objects.
Yeah, don't like
unless,
take that coin.
Yeah. You cannot open any boxes whose lids are shut. They are considered locked. But pouches are free game. As long as they don't have the arcane lock blue thing tied around it indicating that it is as such, you can 100%
Yeah.
I'm gonna put all my things in boxes now.
I mean, you usually carry a briefcase with you.
Yeah, and that actually has a combination on it that I do make sure is locked properly so nobody can get in. What are we getting my documents?
Oh, you know what's
Yeah, that
it's
even-
great for me now. Go, sorry, Melody.
you still can't break into his briefcase.
Exactly. You may have the briefcase, but unless you're willing to break my personal property, then you are not getting in.
So this is hilarious for me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Melody knows this. Scott, you probably know this. I don't know if you know this, Jimmy, but I have
I don't know much.
a very unique character bag in that mine is bigger than most, just for the sake of identification, which is very nice. The team also put a bell on it, which is really funny. So now I get to walk around with the jingle bag.
You'll always know where it is.
Yeah, no, that's I like that more. Like, and now I get to walk around
Honestly,
with the bell even more. That's fun.
Sometimes I forget my character. And I tie it onto myself in a really haphazard way, and it has fallen off before. I think I might need a bell, so that I can always be confident. But then that might fuck with your bell. Wait, okay.
Or
no, that's
alternately,
fine. I'll suck it up.
just be smarter with your bag,
Well, that's already out of the question, so we're gonna need another solution.
and yet you feel a bell is okay. All right.
Well, it sounds like it's working for you. Might work for
Because
me. I
it's
don't know.
fun. It's because it's
Yeah.
fun. Sorry, Melody. Go ahead.
There is now the possibility of players forgetting their character bags at home.
Oh
this
fuck! I'm
is
gonna do
true
that, aren't I?
for Summit.
Shit.
Yeah. Make sure to. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say that
This
now.
time
Every
next year.
Yeah, every podcast episode from now on is gonna be as a reminder. Bring your character bags.
Don't
Make sure
forget
they're
your
packed.
character bag.
Otherwise, you're fucked.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's
Yeah.
really. That's gonna suck.
Tickets, character sheet, and character bag.
Yep.
Go.
Absolutely. Yeah, and on that absolutely kick-ass piece of news, yeah, that's it. That's us done. Longer than I expected, but
I had fun.
meh, this is fun.
We will most definitely see you next time for the rest of the wins. It is
Mhm.
not
Thanks
over.
for having
no,
us.
no, it is not
Very
over.
much.
Yeah, no, absolutely happy to have all three of you on. And yeah, we'll get part 2 done as soon as possible. It'll be released when it's released. Yeah, I'll hopefully be able to get all the content out I need to before this summit, so it's done, and then I've got the rest of the long hot basically to work out an alternative streaming and or recording-ish situation. Yeah, this is fun. The wins are often an interesting and trialing thing to read. There are moments of levity and there are moments of lament and pain, but nevertheless, you know, we'll stride forward ever on, or we'll be cut down and left in the ashes of yesteryear. Because that's just how LARP be sometimes.
Ended on a high note, man.
I'm not finished.
Okay.
But nevertheless, it is always good fun to play out this world, to play out the different characters, to see and hear and witness everything happen around Passage and beyond. And this specific change with allowing character bags outside of Summit is only going to grow and make this world feel so much more lived in, so much more lively, active, and dynamic. And I'm immensely happy that this is something I'm going to be able to keep doing, because I adore this, both the coverage of it and just being a part of it. It's great. Absolutely adore it. So, thank you everyone for watching and or listening. This has been the Wanderer's Guide to Esterra, episode 12. Episode 13 rolling on at some point. Get your character stuff done. Make good decisions. Please be safe.
My ticket yet. Whoops.
Alright. Catch us later. Bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Everyone.